to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today, Amber Roy joins me. Amber is the brand spanking new principal of Amber Dawn Interiors. At the time we recorded this episode, she was in business about 2 months, and it's probably 5 or 6 months by the time you're hearing this episode. The focus on our show today will begin with an aha moment that Amber Roy had while she was listening to me being interviewed by my friend Amber de la Garza on her podcast, The Productivity Specialist. On Amber's podcast, I was on her show and she was on my show. I would encourage you to listen to both of these episodes. They're both in my feed, number 385 and 436, okay? Also, I would tell you, Amber de la Garza's podcast, The Productivity Specialist, is one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to every single week. So she really does help you just get focused and, cut through the weeds to try and get organized. So if that happens to be an Achilles heel, I'm giving you a really great suggestion, okay? Now, as far as Amber Roy, the other thing that we focus on here is all the intentional actions that she took prior to opening her interior design firm in the immediate weeks before and in the immediate weeks after, okay? And how she went about introducing herself to potential clients in order to get her new business off the ground. And I'll give you a hint. The core of her approach is building relationships in and out of the design industry, all right? And just a second before I introduce Amber, I want to say one thing about our conversation that we didn't get a chance to talk about during the show, but I wanted to point it out. And what it was is, when I was researching Amber, I went to her website and I can see that she is already zeroing in on her brand identity in her About You page, okay? We know experts like Nicole Heimer of Curio Electro and, of course, our beloved Fred Burns, two of my co-authors in the Well-Designed Business of Power Talk Friday, Experts Volume 1. We know that they're always telling us our differentiator doesn't have to be a huge idea, and it doesn't have to be something that's exclusive to us. It just needs to be real for us, right? Something that we truly are or that we truly believe in, okay? So I found these lines on Amber's About page, and I wanted to share them with you. It says, "My approach to design is to find balance between old and new, between trends and timelessness. I love to use heirloom pieces and incorporate antique and salvage building materials. I've always been drawn to having all old things, including houses and architecture. I feel that bringing old pieces in gives a space soul, and mixing old with new creates balance and warmth." Okay? So the thing is I want to tell you is, I always say, don't tell me how you're inspired by the dunes, right? And so this is, you might be thinking, well, that's sort of like being inspired by the dunes, LuAnn, and the sandy beaches, just it's old and new. But the thing is, this really jumped off the page, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if I'm a potential client, when I look at her portfolio and I see the fresh, clean look that is so current and that I probably like, I know that if I too love old things, vintage pieces, cherished furniture handed down, I know Amber isn't going to tell me that it has to go. Okay. What I understand immediately is that I can have a fresh new space designed by a hip designer, but that I found a kindred soul who will happily help me mix my old and new. All right. And believe me, the people that this is important to, that will attract and entice them to reach out to her. Particularly that she's in the New England area, right? So that's a part of our country that really does tend to more, there's much more antiques there. It's the oldest part of our country, right? So anyway, I just thought that it was a nice little learning lesson and we didn't cover it during the show. Now, one last item before I introduce you, a big thank you to Article.com. So if you are like Amber and you love the blend of antique with new modern pieces, then you need to sign up for your trade account today with Article. Article is the place for clean mid-century furniture for living rooms, dining rooms, office, and outdoor spaces. Please go to welldesigned.article.com. Let their trade pros help you find just the right piece that you might be mixing in skillfully with something old, just like Amber does. All right, are you ready to meet Amber? Hi, Amber. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
You're welcome. I'm delighted to have you, sweetie, because I want to share with everybody that you sent an email to me a month or so ago, and you know, they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and the way to LuAnn's heart is through a really nice email. I'm just going to say.
Nailed it.
You did. You really did. And, you know, and fortunately, I am very lucky, and I'm grateful, and I acknowledge it all the time, that I do get emails very often from listeners. But, you know, when the subject line is, I was crying ugly tears, I don't know. You kind of sit up and read that one. And, of course, I read them all. Let's not insinuate anything differently. But rather than me tell the story about the email, tell us what happened and why you were moved to email me.
Okay. So I was listening to the episode where you aired an episode of Amber de la Garza's podcast that you were interviewed on. So she interviewed you on her show and you aired it on yours. So, and you were talking about how you are not by nature a systems person, and how you really fought that to begin with. And knowing from listening to your show, I know how important it is to have systems, to keep track of things, and which is totally against my nature as well. I'm like fly by the seat of my pants. I don't want to deal with the nuisance of like keeping track of stuff, and that's just how I roll. But I know now that I'm going to have to fight that and implement these things if I want to succeed, which I do. But it worried me. I would think like, am I going to be able to do this? You know? And so listening to this episode where you're talking to Amber de la Garza, you mentioned about your younger self and how you were a total free bird, so much so that your husband gave you the nickname LuB, and which stood for Lou Bird, as in free bird. And it was like right in that moment when I heard that, you know, along with everything else from that interview, and it just like made me break down in tears. I was like, if LuAnn Nigera was like just like me, and she was able to succeed, then I can too. Like, you know, it's just one of these moments. I was like, oh my God, I can do it. So,
doesn't mean it's going to be easy though.
right.
No, it's the truth. I mean, I'm so glad that helped you, because I remember when Amber was first on my show. She was on my show, episode 385. And you're right. We had a conversation, and then and it went well, and I was so impressed by her. I love her show, by the way, The Productivity Specialist. I listen to that like you guys listen to my show. And she just has excellent advice and tips and everything. And I listen to that show because that's what I need. That's the truth. Right. And it really does help me, and it smacks me into line, and it's like, okay, LuAnn, you could do it. You could do it. You could do it. Amber says you could do it. You could do it. You know what I mean? And
right,
so the thing is, though, that when we were done our conversation, she said, you know, I'd love to have you on my show as well. And I thought that was a little bit hysterical, actually, to go on a productivity specialist show. But, you know, she said to me, because there was a few times during the interview, I was sharing with her when she was on my show first, how, wow, you know, Vin does that automatically. That's actually a habit of Vin's. And the thing is that when we go to get on the show, I don't remember it exactly. I haven't listened to it in quite a few months, but I don't remember if she just assumed that I also was highly organized, or she just was or knew I wasn't. I don't remember what it was, but there was a moment where I remember thinking, oh, no, see, I don't have this locked down. No, this is a struggle every day. This is uphill. This is shoveling poopy uphill every day. You know, and the thing of it is for me is I have two advantages that you don't have in your seat, Amber, is that I did have Vin every day telling me this is how we're going to do this, and checking me every day and calling me out every day, and constantly saying, I cannot believe you didn't do it this way again. And I'm like, constantly saying, I do not believe you still care. It's like, come on. Am I not going to break you of this system Nazi thing? You know? And, but I also did share that there comes a turning point. There does come a turning point where, either having a system will save your butt in a situation, or having a system just made it so much easier to do, or having a system made it so that you could teach somebody else how to do it, or having a system made it so that it instilled some confidence in your client when you said, oh, well, in fact, no, this is what's going to happen next because this is the way we do it. And then you see their face like just go, oh, great, you know what you're doing. And so little by little, I came to understand, but that's the advantage I had. I had that hammer over me every single day, week, month, year, ensuring that I did it. And that's the challenge that you will face, Amber, that you know, and that a lot of entrepreneurs face, is that you can listen to the shows, my podcast, Amber de la Garza's podcast, you can listen to them all day long. But if you don't sit down and do it, and there's nobody to make you do it, you have a much harder battle than I have, because you're battling your inner nature and you don't have somebody holding you accountable. And so I had to battle my own inner nature and then face the battle with the Vin man. And there was a point when it was just easier to fight myself than him. So, but I'm going through that with the podcast again too. Every single week, you know, setting out and setting a system for the podcast, and, you know, trying it out, and it works and it doesn't work. And then, you know, oh, you didn't do it again this way. And of course, so much of it has been systemized. But again, to your point, when, you know, I don't know if you've heard the episodes with Vita for the WTFs, the Window Treatment Fridays.
I listened to most of the most recent one.
Yes. And Vita is exactly opposite you and I, Amber. She loves spreadsheets. She loves Excel sheets. She's so organized. I love her, right? And I love her as a person, but I love working with her because she literally comes to the table with everything that my brain is like, I don't want to do this, right? And so, but you know, there's the thing about it is that what I have learned, and I want you to know, is that we're worthwhile too, okay? We're valuable too, because we are the dreamers. We are the big picture thinkers. We're not the ones with our head down counting beans. We're the ones looking up at the beanstalk. Okay? That's who we are. And so you do need to know who you are, because if you run your own business and you're your own business owner, you do have to count the beans before you can plant them to grow. But don't forget the super value of that. And so the thing about it is what I loved in your email, because I saw that little germ there. I saw you said to me, you know, I'm crying ugly tears. I can't believe it. I thought I was, you know, doomed, you know, to not be able to be a productive business owner if I'm consistently fighting this. But you also said to me that you are absolutely a committed person, that you are a person who will go for things. You are a person who's dedicated to developing their business. And then you told me that you hadn't even launched your design firm yet, but you were planning this huge open house for this house that you had purchased and had completely renovated to flip. And I thought, Well, that is a go-getter, lady. I want to hear about this, right? Because you didn't say, well, I'm not a designer yet, so I probably should announce to the world I'm a designer. You're like, I'm a designer. I just called it. That's what I am. So tell us about this. So you're listening to the show. You understand the value of taking the professional photographs. You've designed this home. So we're talking about the hardscapes in the house, right? The kitchens, the bathrooms, the flooring, right?
Yeah, well, the flooring was all original. We refinished it, but yeah, we actually relocated the kitchen, completely gutted the only full bathroom, added a second bathroom, and redesigned the powder room. So yeah, I mean,
see, that's a big. That's an awesome thing. And so what do is you don't just say, well, I did this and let me take some iPhone pictures of it. You're like, go big or go home. So you
100%. Yeah.
Right. So tell us about it. I love it.
Okay, so I really wanted to get the most out of this house that I could. I saw an opportunity for more than just flipping the house. Knowing that I was headed in the direction of starting my own interior design business, I saw this as a huge opportunity. So I planned to have the launch party there. I thought it was a perfect setting. It's a showcasing. Here's an example of what I can do. I designed every part of the remodel. I designed everything in here. And by the way, it's for sale because I'm a realtor, so it's on the market. So here you go. So it's an open house, a broker open house / launch party for my business. So it was just a really perfect setting. And beyond that, I just wanted to give it more validity. I'm not sure if that's the right word to use, but we didn't have the budget for staging, but I know how important that is. And I thought, why don't I ask some companies if they'd be, interested in this? So I reached out. I reached out to Ethan Allen, my local Ethan Allen store, and then another local furniture store called Coastal Furniture. And I just told them who I was and what I was doing, and that I'm a realtor and I'm launching an interior design business. And this is my network. This is how many people, this email is going to be sent out to via the Seacoast Board of Realtors, yada, yada. So I told them what my intentions were, and I asked them if they wanted to collaborate. And to everyone's surprise,
except yours and mine, I'm telling you.
Yeah, they both said yes. And so here we were with an amazing opportunity, to work with Ethan Allen. They agreed to stage the living room. This house has a large living room, so that was the perfect place. So we designed that together. And this other company, Coastal Furniture, loaned me things for the dining room, the master bedroom, and a little mudroom area. And so that just gave it a whole, it elevated the entire thing. I was then able to have excellent listing photos, and have content for my website that I was about to launch. And then, of course, have a beautiful setting for my guests to come for the launch party. And it was amazing.
I love it. I love it. I think it's awesome. So tell me a couple things. Number one is you reach out to them. Where did you have this idea to reach out to a furniture company and just say, hey, want to put your furniture here for my launch party?
I don't know if it was on, I don't know if I got the idea from a show or if I saw it on like an interior design Facebook thing. Someone had the idea there. Not the same thing. I had seen it somewhere. I honestly can't remember where it came from, but I saw the kind of like the concept of that, and I thought, oh, I could do that with this.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to reach out to these companies.
Yeah, I can remember Stephen Carlish, who is a photographer, saying and teaching us on the show that often if you collaborate with local furniture companies, even if you're, when you're doing your own project and you have to, a lot of clients don't design to completion, right? And so to just fill in and stuff like that. So that's good. And here's the other thing is that when you went to Ethan Allen and Coastal Furniture with this idea, you said that you laid out how you were going to promote the event.
Right.
Tell us, 100 people on an email list, 30 people, 500 people, what did you offer them? And did you quantify it for them?
Yeah, so I used, like I said, I'm not sure if we said I'm a realtor as well. So I have access to the, what's the list of,
MLS.
yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah, the MLS, but the, the list of the Seacoast Board of Realtors, sorry, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
And there's about roughly 900 people in the
Ah,
Seacoast Board of Realtors. So when I do an email blast to that group, that's 900 eyes on that. Well, I don't know
nice.
the open,
Right.
um, but yeah, that's potentially, I guess, is the point. 900 eyes, sets of eyes, and then of course I told them that I'd be highly promoting it on my social media. Um, and then I also did other kind of fun things. I actually I got a do you know what a step and repeat is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I ordered a step and repeat and I got all of the logos for the companies that I was collaborating with. One of them had both of the furniture companies, and then I also worked with an art gallery in the Boston Design Center, and the woman who manages that gallery, Edgewater Gallery, um, loaned me a couple of pieces of art to help stage the house as well. So I had her
Wow.
logo, and I have a friend who does graphic design that helps me with the flyers and stuff. So I put her logo on there, and then of course I had a title company as a general sponsor and a mortgage company as a general sponsor as well. So I had all of the logos, including mine, of course, on a step and repeat, and it was on the front porch. This house has a beautiful front, farmer's porch. So it was right out there for everyone to see as we drove by, and everyone had photo ops there. So that was just another fun way that I incorporated their, promoting their
Right.
businesses as well.
I
Yeah.
love it. And when you say that the title company and the mortgage company were general sponsors, did you ask them for money in order to promote their companies, or what do you mean by that?
Oh, so it's typical for realtors when you have a listing, you'll often start with a broker open house,
Mm-hmm.
and those events are for other agents to come and see the property and give some feedback and things like that, and just kind of get it out, get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And those events are typically sponsored by
Oh, so
a
they pay
title
for the
company.
food and the
Correct.
refreshments and stuff like that.
Yep, and they'll often have, yeah, one of them will take care of the food, and the other will do like a raffle item, whether it's
Okay.
a gift card or they bring a nice bottle of wine or whatever raffle item they want. But
Oh,
in my case, since it was going to be a bigger kind of event, they just pooled their resources and their budgets for these things, and we just got extra food. So we got really nice food. I took care of all the beverages, um, and yeah, we had a local restaurant, the Oak House. Cater, and we just had a fabulous spread, and
isn't that
that was thanks to
something?
them.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. It's so scrappy. I love it. Well, and the thing is, the truth of it is the only part of it that makes it scrappy is that you weren't a business yet. You see, if
Mhm.
any designer listening that's in business 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, whatever it is, it's a totally logical, viable idea. And they should go do it. They should find a realtor and say, how about if you're going to do an open house and have a broken open house. How about if I speak to my contacts? I stage the place with you. Of course it's home staging, right? But also designers could do it. But the fact that you had the gumption to do it, to say this is the launch of my business. And what I always say too is, and what I love about this is, first of all, kudos to Ethan Allen and Coastal Furniture to not look at you and say, okay, come back when you actually have a roster of clients. Thank you very much. Right. And I understand that the realtor list is valuable, but they could have said next year, sweetie, not this year,
Yeah.
right? They could
Yeah.
have.
It
And so
was.
hats off to them. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
And it was helpful. I think I already had two companies kind of on board with it before I kind of had that idea to reach out to them. The gallery that I mentioned,
that's right.
um,
Yeah.
I met um, the manager of that gallery recently, in March, and they're a new gallery to the Boston Design Center. And so she was kind of we just got to talking about what we were, both doing. And we were kind of in the same position where she's trying to promote her gallery as well. And she was the one who she offered to
Smart.
loan me some things. So and then I have a friend who is local, who sells vintage Turkish rugs, and she is so wonderful and offered to loan me rugs to help stage as well. So I had already had these two things. So I was able to use some like
Mm,
verbiage, like some vocabulary, like, oh, I'm already collaborating with this vintage rug company and
right.
collaborating with this art gallery in the Boston Design Center. And this is what we're doing. We're having this event. So I think that helped me. And so I was just
Yeah,
lucky with
it's
that. Yeah.
salesmanship. Good for
Yeah.
you. We're having a party. Do you want to come? It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. If you come, it's definitely a party. Don't tell anybody. Right? No, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so now invitations go out. So, of course, it's a broker open house. So that automatically is going to put live bodies there. What did you do about getting public there? How did that work? Did you invite, I don't know, the Chamber of Commerce, the PTA? Like, I don't know. Where did you go to get live bodies?
I actually didn't. I just I invited friends and family, and I didn't want to make it public per se, because I had borrowed furniture there, and there was just
Okay.
I couldn't have it be like
Crazy.
totally public.
Can't be a frat
And so
house.
I did the I did the uh the realtors, and then announced it on my Facebook, on my Instagram. I did announce it, but instead of writing the date, the place, the time,
Mm.
I said, I'm launching my business, exclamation point, when I'm having this event. If you're interested in attending, DM me.
Okay.
And so I let it,
Somebody who is
I put it out there.
totally
Yeah,
interested and motivated, you would have a conversation and find out who they are and why they were. Okay.
correct.
So it's
Yep.
not just like let everybody in. But by the way, having all the realtors there, like home run right there, right? So that's the target demographic that, you want them all to know that you're launching a design business. And of course, we've had Dala Fawaris on the show tell us that she launched her business, and one of the things that she did was the first 8 days she went through and told every single friend and family and contact that she knew that she was launching a business. So having just friends and family and realtors is not a just at all. It's a
Right.
significant,
Yeah.
influential group of people to be on hand for such a fun way to launch your business. Good for you.
Right.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. And the other thing too is that it sets you up with a relationship with this gallery, Edgewater Gallery in the BDC,
Yeah.
and it sets you up with a relationship with Ethan Allen and Coastal Furniture, where and because I have said that before, I've had designers in my masterminds and at the lunch and learns at Window Works, newer in business, say to me, well, do I really just call like a kitchen, cabinetry place and say, I'm a new designer, I want to work with you? Do I really just call and walk into a tile shop and say, I'm a new designer? I'm like, yes, you
Yeah.
really do. You
Yeah.
really do. Right? Because I know from Window Works, I'm like a broken record. I say it all the time. I'm consistently referring into my clients to interior designers. I don't want to do it. I don't know how to do it. Kimberly knows how to do it, but I don't want her to do it. I don't need her knee deep into a project for 6 months. It's like, no, sweetie. We're selling blinds and drapes today. We're going to sell them again tomorrow. We're going to sell a different one the next day. We're not like, picking tile and, doing this for 6 weeks. No. And so the thing is that we as vendors, as retailers in your community, whether it be a realtor, whether it be a window treatment professional, whether it be a kitchen specialty place or a tile place or whatever it is we need to know the designers in the area, because our clients are looking for you, and we are, we get to do a home run when we say, I've got the perfect designer to refer you to.
Yeah.
And so good for you. That's so good. And so
Thank you.
what did you do? Did you have a post-event plan that you did that you've been executing to kind of maximize and leverage the exposure that you got? What are you doing in that regard, Amber?
So my plan after that, it was coming off of this major renovation, so it was like craziness up until then. and I was just like, just get through it, have the event, and then establish what you're going to do. And so my strategy for, now is networking. I'm getting out there and hitting up networking events, that three a week.
Okay.
It's just another way to start building relationships.
And what types of events? What are we talking about in specifically?
Like chamber, morning mixers, and women in business groups, and things like that.
Okay. Okay. So I will tell you that I have always found these activities to pay off. Okay. With one caveat.
Okay.
You have to be involved.
Yes.
And it's a tough one because you got little kids, 2 and 4 years old. You've got, a new business launching. You've got a husband. It's tough. But the thing that I have learned, there isn't one time that in my life that I have joined an organization that I have gotten business from unless I also volunteered in the organization.
Yeah.
It's because the showing up once a month for the event is good and it will work. Okay. But it will take a lot longer for it to work. Whereas if you show up and you volunteer for a committee, and of course, if you're like me, you're going to pick the tightest, shortest, quickest project ever. So you get on, you do what you got to do. And, but that's where I have done that with ASID. I've done that with New Jersey Association of Women Business Owners, the Chamber. I mean, over and over again, you can go. But when you get involved in a committee, that is where the relationships are built, and that's when people start to little by little use you and refer you because. Cocktails is not an in-depth way for somebody to feel safe to refer you by.
Yeah, that's right. And that's something that's like that concept of that is something I also learned from listening to your show, and realizing that it's not enough to just go there to those things and have your drink ticket and then be awkward and then leave.
Right.
So, which is why I found, I was a member of a different chamber, and now I've kind of, just decided to go to a different area, and that I just felt a lot more comfortable with. And my plan is to do exactly what you just said. My first step in doing that is I'm going to volunteer at the there's like a brew and chili cook-off event or something like that, and they're looking for volunteers. And so I said, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep doing things like that so these people will trust me and know that I am committed to being a part of the community.
Right. Yeah, because the thing is that, it's not like you're at the brew and chili thing and you're like, hi, I'm Amber, I'm a designer. Hi, I'm Amber, remember. You're just getting to know people, and then they like you. And then they're like, wait, what do you do again? Oh, okay, you're a designer. Oh, what kind of design do you do? That's where you need Nancy Ganzerkaufer's, your business in words. I'm just saying. Yes. So you come right out with it, what your superpower is. But no. I'm so glad that you learned that from the show, because it is so important to do that. And we just had the show recently with Carolyn Flannery, how she has built her pipeline through donating and being part of the different tricky trays for all the local grammar schools in her area, 8, 10, 20 grammar schools.
Yes, I listened to that one. And I'm going to do that.
Yes, it's, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. What's so funny is because if you remember that show, I said to her that we have donated anywhere from 2 to 8 or 10 every single year for all these years. And we've only had 2 or 3 people ever call. But that's exactly my point. I've never shown up at an event, and I've never followed up with any of the committee, and I've never taken the time to get to know the committee. I simply just do it, and therefore it does not pay off for us. But my thing is that I make the I shouldn't say, here's where I'm going to clarify. I have had window treatment sales with the person who comes in to solicit it, because there's right. So, oh, I understand that, you donate. Oh, yeah. And then I start a little conversation with her. How long are you on the committee? Oh, my kid's only 7. I just started at the school last year. Oh, I've been donating to this for 25 years. Oh, you have? Yes, please make sure all the other committees know. And so what happens is that one person gets to know us and like us, and that one person will randomly, I'll find out, oh, how did you hear about us? Oh, well, my friend is on the PTA committee, blah, blah, blah. But if I wanted to make that active gift of the tricky tray valuable the way Carolyn does, I would show up at those things. And I would probably say to them, hey, do you need help organizing the event? Right?
Yeah,
so, but I mean, I've always had other different ways, and I haven't needed it as an arm, but of revenue or as an arm of marketing, but it is a viable one. And so, it just proves my point. The places that I have spent my time, I've always got multiple business orders out of it. And the places that I haven't spent my time, it's just a charitable donation, and that's all it is. Right. And so you decide, just eyes wide open is all. So good for you. For you. Okay. So we're networking. What else are you doing? What else are some of the things? So you learned from the show not to be scared of your own nature. Okay.
Yeah.
What else have you learned that you would like to share with somebody listening who maybe feels like a little bit the way you do, Amber?
One of the big takeaways, there was an episode with the Jana Phipps, the Trim Queen.
Yes.
Something about her episode made me realize what my values were, what my mission. I'm really into historic homes and architecture, and I can't remember exactly what brought that out, but I had it noted in my my phone notes, and that you don't have to have it all figured out before you launch. Like, just go for it. And I believe there was a quote, "Don't wait for perfect."
Right.
And so that really resonated in that and gave me a lot of the confidence to just go ahead and do it. Even though I'm not established yet, I will end up that way. With all of these steps that I'm taking, it will start to be that way.
All right. So what are you afraid of anything at this point? Are you concerned about anything at this point going forward? It's so brand new. Where are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I don't think that I have many. I just the natural fears that are probably just always in the back of anybody's mind. Like, what if it never works? What if nobody ever hires me? But I just know that all of these things are going to pay off. I know that I'm intentional, and I know that I'm making the right moves, and I know that it's going to work out for me. And I mean, I just got my first client, so that's fun.
Oh, how exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm working, so that gallery, back to Boston Design Center, I have a really awesome opportunity there, where the manager I was telling you about asked me to design her window display for Fall Design Week.
Wow.
So I have another incredible opportunity that just came from just getting out there and talking to somebody. And, we've built this relationship. She's loaned me things, and now we're talking and we're friends, and she asked me to do this. And that's enormous.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. And the thing about it is okay, so we're at the Boston Design Center. Yes, and there are retail consumers that go into the Boston Design Center. We know this to be true. We had Debbie Daly on the show. She's one of the in-resident Boston Design Center designers. However, just the opportunity for you to say in social media that I am designing this window display for this prestigious Boston Design Center and for this amazing gallery, Edgewater Gallery, that's crazy pants, right?
Yeah. I am floored.
Yes,
it has to be amazing.
Yes, no, that's awesome, and it also goes back to what we were saying a couple of minutes ago. You could walk by in the Boston Design Center and take a look at this gallery and think to yourself, what could I ever do to help them? And there's the gallery owner inside thinking, I wish I could get my pieces out. How could I work with? How could it happen? That's the thing. We're all people. We're all trying to make our things work. We're all hustling. We're all looking for, I'll wash your hand, you wash my hand. And it comes down to what you said before. Just ask. Just ask.
Yeah.
Right? So awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's so good. How far are you actually from the Boston Design Center? Are you close?
It takes me about an hour to get there, 10 minutes maybe.
Okay. It's a beautiful building, right? Beautiful.
Yeah. It's so inspiring. Oh, I love it.
Yes, definitely. Well-run team. I love working with the Boston Design Center as well. Well-run team. Here's the thing. So where are we at? Now, let me ask you a couple practical questions.
Sure.
You have your first client. Have you declared a business entity? Have you incorporated? Have you set it up as a legal thing? Do you have business insurance? Do you have a checking account separate from your own personal checking account?
Yes.
Not to put you on the spot.
To all of the above, I'm happy to announce.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've actually been registered with the state of New Hampshire since last September, just because I wanted to. I'm not sure why,
okay.
But so I've been registered since for over a year now. But I just got my business insurance in the spring and set up my business account shortly after that. So
okay,
I've got all those ducks in a row at least.
That's good. No, that's good. I've met designers that haven't done that before they've had their first client, and that's a no-no. You have to do that. So I'm glad that you have. Okay. And now you have to work on getting your dream team together, right? Have you gathered your vendors and your trade professionals? Of course, you've got probably a whole slew that work with you on this home. What sorts of trades do you feel comfortable that you have good, solid relationships beginning with?
That is an awesome question. And and because of that renovation project, I do have some relationships. So we were really happy with our electrician. We had to have the whole house. It was a historic house in the historic district of Durham, New Hampshire. So it was all had to be updated, and they did a fantastic job. So I'm super confident reaching out to them again. Our plumber was wonderful. Same there. My drywall guys were actually people that I knew for years. They were regulars at a restaurant I used to work at. And so hooking up with them again was so wonderful, and they do amazing work. So I have quite a few trades. And then my husband is an excellent resource because his expertise is excavation.
Oh.
So if I'm ever doing a job that needs, any work to the exterior, I, can have him help. And of course, he's like a jack of all trades. He did like everything else that wasn't electric or plumbing.
Okay. That's good.
In the house, and can help me with building projects. And he's just an excellent, opposite of you and I, LuAnn. He's I don't know if he's quite like Vin, where he's like super numbers guy, but he is like project manager, like knows how to run jobs.
Good
it's
for you.
Incredible. And so he's an excellent resource with a lot of stuff like that. So I have I guess quite a few of each, but
you have your bookkeeper, your CPA, things like that lined up?
I don't have those two things yet.
Okay.
And I know that you are like slapping my hand saying yourself. But I do know a couple of bookkeepers and CPAs personally, and so when I'm ready to do that, I have some people that I trust already, which I guess is a good thing.
Okay. I mean, look, do you actually need a bookkeeper to open your business? And you know what I mean? Yeah. But, you do need a CPA. Okay. And I would recommend that you get started with QuickBooks. Because it'll be so much easier for you to get started with QuickBooks when there's so much less money, and you just understand and you work through it. And then in the beginning, you may be able to be your own, I'm never going to say that you should be your own bookkeeper out loud in real life, because honestly, we both know we have no idea how to do that, right? Okay. But with QuickBooks, you can sort of until, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is. But you remember Kimberly Kay's episode, right? Do you remember her episode? She was, I'll have to look it up for the show notes.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's also a hashtag baby designer like yourself that was listening to the program and was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I can do this. And she went out and did it, and she like killed it in the first 6 or 7 months, had so many projects. She's adorable. You have to watch her Instagram and her Instagram story. She's a crack up. And one of the things that she said to me on air was, and I said, any mistakes that you can look back and think. And I think she might have been in business 6 or 8 months when I interviewed her. And she said, one of the things I did was I waited too long to hire a bookkeeper. And I said, and how long was that? She said, I waited 3 months, I think she said. And so,
Wow.
just, what it is because she started with business. And so, you got to get the money locked down. And you either can do it or you can't. And if you can't, don't pretend you can. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Yep. Fair enough.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I would look into that and have that. And then, of course, you need your window treatment person. And you have the resource of the WCAA, and you can go on their website and look for window treatment people. And right there up in your area, I know that we have Julie Wood from the Leading Edge Drapery. So that might be a resource for you.
Good. Okay.
She's right up there, and she's awesome. And she's a great lady, and she'll help you network as well, probably with Renee Rucci, who's an interior designer in that area. And these are very, very loving, giving women that have many years' experience. And so they're good people to add to your little network of people to know up there.
Oh, awesome. I will reach out to them.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, is there anything else that you'd like to just say to someone listening in your position that's getting ready to launch or thinking about launching that you'd love to share and say to them?
How about just it's okay to be afraid, but just fight through it and just do the things that make sense to you to do, and don't be afraid to ask. We've talked a lot about that during our conversation, and I just think it's really important. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to tell you what. You know what I'm going to say to you? I'm going to tell you got to come back in a year and tell me how you're doing. And you better have it in a ledger so you can tell me how much money you made.
All right.
Because I'm going to ask you what your gross revenue is and what your net take home was. That's the first thing I'm going to ask you.
All right. I need to sign up for some classes.
That's it. Right. So, all righty, sweetie. Well, I thank you so much, Amber, for coming on the show. And I'm going to tell you too, because you are my kindred spirit here, my sister here. You need Amber de la Garza's podcast. Put that on your queue and listen to hers. Yes. Okay, good.
It's you and Amber, and that's all I have.
Okay. Well, they're the most important ones right now at this stage of your journey. Perfect. And by the way, I would hazard to mention that you probably should have Wingnut Social on there too, just to keep learning about your Instagram and marketing for interior designers. Just saying. So, all righty.
All right, LuAnn, this has been so awesome.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I appreciate it, Amber.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Little housekeeping before I share my thoughts. If you are in the New Jersey, New York area, please join me and my friends at Exceptional Flooring Concepts in Whippany, New Jersey. This event is co-sponsored by the New Jersey chapter of IDS, the Interior Design Society. I will be giving a presentation on how to attract and service the luxury client. And the fabulous team at Exceptional Flooring Concepts is treating the first 50 designers who RSVP and attend a copy of my second book, A Well-Designed Business, The Power Talk Friday Experts. So please head over to LuAnnNigara.com/live-event to find the RSVP. This is a daytime event, 12 to 3 p.m. Please come join us. Now, how about that for a determined young lady, right? I love the bold moves of reaching out to Ethan Allen, to Coastal Furniture, to the Oak House Restaurant. Why not, right? She had nothing to lose and everything to gain. And this is exactly how I want you to frame it in your mind. What do I have to lose? And from a more tactical perspective, you must know not only your why, but why should the other party accept the opportunity, especially if it will cost them time or money. This is the secret sauce to earning collaborations. From my in-person conversations with you at my Power Talk Friday one-day coaching events, my Sales for Creatives course, and other ways that I get to work with you, I know this is part of the equation that you'll often forget about. Often you'll have a fear or a discomfort in approaching a vendor or a builder or an architect because you forget to keep top of mind that what you are offering to them is of great value to them. You get stuck in, will they say they don't need my services? Will they even listen to me? Will they pay attention? Well, to get someone to hear how amazing what you have is, focus on exactly what you are providing them that makes their life easier, better, more profitable. Or best is if you can solve or remove something that is really a pain point for them, okay? So in the case of these vendors, let's take Ethan Allen. Big marketing budget, right? Social media ads, print ads, direct mail campaigns, probably the whole works, right? So what's the pitch? What's the why for you and for someone like them? Your why, Amber's why, outside voice. I'm launching a brand new interior design firm, and not only have I partnered with several other business owners as well as my realtor network and a social circle of influence who'll all be there to see and enjoy your products, but I'm also going to be a busy designer, and I will need a furniture retailer who I can work with and refer clients to. Inside voice. I'm a go-getter. I will be very successful, and I am well connected in this community. Do you want to be on Team Amber while I bust this thing out? Okay? Now, Ethan Allen's why. All of that. And we get to be recognized as an awesome community-minded partner, not just an impersonal national brick and mortar on the highway, but we get to be seen as real people, supporting real people in our community. They want to be remembered by the buying public, and they realize that stories and the real people in those stories are talked about and therefore are remembered. This assists them in creating what Nicole Heimer would say is the stickiness in their branding, something warm and fuzzy that is memorable and relatable. So here's the big lesson. Not everyone will say yes, okay? No matter how good the win-win, some people will not say yes. And when someone says no, you have two jobs. One is to reevaluate. Did you truly zero in on the pain point that you saw for them? Or did you fully express the value as it relates to them? And then your second job is, if they say no and you've done these things, is to just move on. No second guessing yourself, no pity party, no whining. It just move on. It's okay. Poor them. They missed an opportunity. All right? It's okay. You keep at it. You keep trying. You know what I tell you? Number one, like it or not, you are a salesperson. And number two, all superior salespeople know we are looking for one yes in 25 pitches. That means you, me, we're all going to hear 24 no's, okay? But focus on this. Every no you hear gets you closer to that yes, all right? And lastly, yes, I can talk about how to sell, how to pitch, how to negotiate all day long, literally 24/7. It does come easier for me, and I can see it comes pretty easy for Amber too. There are those of us who understand when we are offering you something, translation, selling you something, we are truly, really, truly offering you something that will make your world better. Okay. So no, I have no hesitation sharing this opportunity, whatever it is on my mind, with you, because I know at heart I'm serving you. Okay. So, but I want to just say one thing too, to Amber's email to me. I do have an Achilles heel. I am not a systems Nazi. You know that my husband, Vin, he is the systems guy and has taught me all of that all of these years. And so it does come hard for me. Their superpower, him and Amber de la Garza, is the very opposite of my true intrinsic nature. But I have learned when I am better, when I am more organized, when I'm better prepared, that I'm a better boss. I'm a better team player. I'm a better interviewer. I'm a better window treatment professional, and I'm a better speaker. And you know what? Am I a rock star doing the organized part? No, I'm not. Am I going to teach you how to be organized, personally coach you on that? No, probably not. Okay. But that's why I gather my Power Talk Friday experts for live coaching events and for podcast interviews. It's funny. My friend and co-author, Michelle Williams, who is highly organized and detailed person, calls being around me being in LuAnn's world. Okay. So there's a funny story. When we were in High Point last spring, we were in the same house. And one morning I was walking from the kitchen back to my room. She was leaving her room all dressed and ready to go. I said, "Where are you off to so early?" She looked at me stunned because I was standing there in my PJs. And she said, "Well, I'm leaving to get to the theater for your keynote. Did you forget you have that today?" I said, "No, but that's not for an hour." To this day, we crack up about it. You know what I mean? But you see, I have prepared my talks. I have an arsenal of stories. I know my message. So I can show up and do my thing. And that's what I've learned. I've learned when things really matter, I do the organizing and I do the preparing. I follow the systems so that I don't sabotage myself and so that I can feel and do my best. You can do that too. Look in the mirror. What are you great at? What do you need to work on? Address both. This is the way to have a successful business. Leverage your strengths, and for those weak areas, get training or hire it out. But do it. All right? So I just want to tell you, I hope that you have an excellent day. I am curious to see your learning points from this particular episode. I'd be happy if you share them with me. But mostly, I'd be happy that if you did something, if you changed something in your business to make it better, decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnnNigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.